Good evening, I'm Abhyuday Shrestha, and these are the headlines of the hour. Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal participates in the oath-taking ceremony of his Indian counterpart Narendra Modi. Visit to India taken as an opportunity to renew the Nepal-India relationship. 2 days of the meetings of the House of Representatives wasted due to government negligence. Ministry-wise discussions pushed back due to the Red Book not being published on time. Narendra Modi takes oath as India's Prime Minister for the third time along with 72 ministers of the new coalition government. Leaders from India's neighborhood and the Indian Ocean region attend the event. And arch rivals India and Pakistan currently clashing in the T20 World Cup Group A match in New York. India batting first after losing the toss in the rain-affected match. Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal has attended the oath-taking ceremony of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Premier Dahal had reached New Delhi today itself and attended the ceremony at the Rashtrapati Bhavan this evening. Prime Minister Dahal was received at the Indira Gandhi International Airport by Special Secretary at the Ministry of External Affairs P. Kumaran. Premier Dahal led the Nepal delegation and left for India at 1:30 p.m. on a Nepal Airlines flight. Deputy Prime Ministers, ministers and high-ranking officials had reached the airport to see off the Premier. Prime Minister Dahal's delegation includes his daughter Ganga Dahal, Minister for Law Padam Giri, Foreign Secretary Sewa Lamsal, among others. This visit has been taken as an opportunity to renew the Nepal-India relationship. It has also been viewed as an opportunity for the Premier to quell any confusion created due to the change in the ruling equation back home. Back in 2014, when Modi had sworn in as the Prime Minister for the first time, the then Prime Minister for Nepal, Sushil Koirala, had attended the ceremony. During his second oath-taking ceremony, the then Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli had attended the ceremony. Narendra Modi has become the only second person to serve as Prime Minister of India for the third time. Prior to this, India's first Prime Minister, Jawaharlal Nehru, had served for consecutive 3 terms. Premier Dahal is scheduled to return home tomorrow. Today's session of the House of Representatives was scheduled to dwell on the Appropriation Bill 2081. However, Speaker Devraj Ghimire, along with main political parties CPN-UML, CPN Maoist Center, Rashtriya Swatantra Party and Rashtriya Prajantra Party, held a meeting and decided to postpone the meeting by 2 days. Based on the calendar prepared for the period till 14th of June, the appropriation bill was scheduled to be discussed at the ministerial level today. Various headings under the Ministries of Forest and Environment, Youth and Sports, Education and Labor, Employment and Social Security, among others, were to be discussed today, and those under the Ministries of Urban Development, Defense, Drinking Water and Women, Children and Senior Citizens were scheduled for tomorrow. However, as the ministries failed to print the Red Book, the whole schedule was affected. The government had presented the budget for the next fiscal year on 28th of May, which was to be followed by discussions. However, opposition parties have said that it was the negligence on part of the government to fail to print the Red Book and adjourn meetings. The government's policies and programs and the budget have emphasized on the implementation part. However, the recent development has spoken otherwise. The scenario has not only wasted 2 days of the Parliament's time, but also raised questions on the future seriousness of the ministries in implementing the programs and policies and the budget. It's now time for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
But before that, let's take a look at the results from yesterday's poll. Yesterday, we had asked you, how can the number of students in community schools be raised? 69% voted for A, improve education standard, 3% for B, manage required infrastructure, and 28% for C, free from politics. And here's today's question. What's your take on 2 days of the Parliament's meetings being wasted due to the budget book not being available on time? Your options are A, negligence by ministries, B, Parliament's apathy, and C, ignoring the calendar. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. We'll take a short break here. We have more news coming up. In our Public Voice segment today, we have asked people in several provinces why have there been issues in the country despite several changes to the constitution and system. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
शासकको स्वरूप भनेको नै हुने खाने टाटा बाटाको श्रमिक वर्गको होइन।
संविधान सभा उल्लेख गरेर मस्यौदा जिल्ला जिल्लामा गाउँ गाउँमा गएको थियो, त्यो पोको खोलिएन। यो वैदेशिक चलखेल गरेर मिश्रित निर्वाचन प्रक्रिया आयो।
व्यवस्थाको उपसंविधान होइन, संविधानको उपज व्यवस्था हो। तर त्यो संविधानले जुन व्यवस्था सिर्जना गर्यो त्यसलाई स्पष्ट भर्टिकल इलेक्सनको माध्यमबाट जानुपर्छ, जुनसुकै तह होस्।
भोटको लोभ लालचाले गर्दाखेरि विकास कम भएछ।
अलि तीव्रत रूपमा हुनुपर्छ भन्ने मान्यता जनताको सोचाइ र यो जुन आर्थिक चाहिँ तपाईको चाहिँ प्रगति राष्ट्रको त्यो हुन सकेन।
राजनीतिक दलकै कमी कमजोरीको कारण यो के भन्ने लाग्छ?
अर्थमा हेर्ने हो भने आर्थिक त्यतिकै मन्दीहरू भइरहेको छ अहिले। राजनीतिक हो भने कहिले पनि अस्थिरता भएको छैन।
बोल्ने एउटा काम चाहिँ गर्ने एउटा प्रवृत्तिलाई हटाउनु पर्छ।
व्यवस्था परिवर्तन भएको फिल नै भएको छैन। एउटा संविधानको किताबमा मात्र सीमित रहेको छ।
शासन परिवर्तन भयो, हामीलाई खुसी लाग्यो, तर आज पहिला भन्दा धेरै बिग्रिया छ के।
नेताहरूले जनता भुल्ने समस्या छ, त्यसकारण यो व्यवस्थामा संकट देखा परिरहेको छ।
यो संविधान कार्यान्वयनमा चाहिँ समस्या भइरहेको छ।
संविधानमा लेखे पनि चाहिँ कार्यान्वयनमा चाहिँ अब ल्याउन नसकिएको अवस्था।
It's time now for the international update. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi took the oath today along with 72 ministers of the new coalition government. 30 of them are cabinet ministers, 5 independent in charge, and 36 ministers of state. The portfolios will be announced later. 73-year-old Modi will head a coalition government in his third term for the first time since he became Prime Minister in 2014. He is the second Prime Minister after Jawaharlal Nehru to be elected for a third term in a row. Prime Minister Modi won the Lok Sabha election from Varanasi by 150,000 votes, a margin much narrower than the 440,000 lead he had over his nearest rival in the 2019 election. President Draupadi Murmu administered the oath to Prime Minister Modi. Rajnath Singh and Amit Shah took oath after him. Leaders from India's neighborhood and the Indian Ocean region, including Prime Minister of Nepal, Pushpa Kamal Dahal, Sri Lankan President Ranil Wickremesinghe, Maldives President Mohammad Muizu, Prime Minister of Bangladesh Sheikh Hasina, Vice President of Seychelles Ahmad Afif, Prime Minister of Bhutan Tshering Tobgay, and Prime Minister of Mauritius Pravind Kumar Jugnauth attended the event. It's time now for another short break. We'll be right back. It's now time for the sports update.
Sports news.
Arch rivals India and Pakistan are currently clashing in the T20 World Cup Group A match. The toss at the Nassau County Stadium in New York was delayed by 30 minutes due to wet outfield. Pakistan won the toss and put India to bat first. After the first over, the match was interrupted for some time by rain. But play has resumed, and according to a recent update, India have scored 90 runs in 12 overs, losing 4 wickets. India thumped Ireland by 8 wickets at the same ground in their first match of the World Cup. Meanwhile, Pakistan were stunned by co-host USA as they suffered a loss in the Super Over. Pakistan are under pressure tonight as they have to win the match to increase their chances of qualifying for the Super 8. Former General Manager of the Board of Control of Cricket in India, BCCI, Amrit Mathur, has identified the need for prioritizing red ball cricket to ensure the overall development of cricket in Nepal. We have an excerpt of an interaction between Mathur and our colleague Prarambha Dahal.
How does sport contribute in terms of economy, tourism, diplomacy and other aspects?
I think you touched upon all the things which sports can do. And you have to look at sports in different sort of verticals. Sport in itself is a very positive activity for the youth, for fitness, health. We know about all that. Character building, team spirit. Apart from that, it is something which is a morale booster for the country. You know, if the Nepali team does well, everybody feels good. So I think it has a great contribution to make to the morale
of the national happiness as well.
Absolutely. So if the team has done well, everybody gets up in the morning feeling happy. So I think that is also a very important aspect of modern sport. It's hugely competitive, but it has a bearing on the national image, the national mood, and also in terms of the national identity. We know football in Brazil are so closely connected. Cricket in India are so closely connected.
It's a religion now.
So it's part of the national identity and its being. Thirdly, I think sport is also now, as you mentioned, soft power. You know, just as Indian films travel across the world and Shah Rukh Khan is a global hero.
Icon.
Similarly, cricket is India's soft power. So if India reaches out to the world in different countries, cricket is a very useful instrument for that. So you have to look at sports from different angles, and whichever angle you look at it from, whether it's the commercial side, whether it's the soft power, whether it's diplomacy, whether it's national happiness, I think it's a major factor.
So this is our second 2020 World Cup. After a hiatus of 10 years, it took us that gap. So how do you see the gap and what do you think should be done to ensure that Nepal, which keeps on playing a lot of 2020 matches, in fact we play more T20 matches than some of the test nations as well, right? So what should be done to make sure that we are regularly featuring at the 2020 World Cups?
Listen, there's no magic formula. At the same time, you know, it's a journey where you will get a setback, you will make progress, or you might slide down a bit. Those things will happen. But I think you should take heart from what Afghanistan has done. You know, they are a serious country in terms of cricket.
We used to play against them on a regular basis now.
Look at the progress they made in 10 years.
And beating New Zealand now.
Yeah, and they are going to be very competitive even in Test cricket. If you look at the quality of players and the exposure they have had, I think that's what maybe the next step for Nepal is needed. More players getting more exposure abroad in terms of whether it's professional leagues, whether it's with county sides or state associations, whatever. I think some more exposure, quality exposure, and I think I'll go back to what I said earlier, that you need a domestic structure which supports 3-day red ball cricket.
The longer format of
because your basics become stronger, and then you're able to adapt to whatever format you play.
And the conditions as well.
Yeah, conditions, format. So I think the basic purpose of any national domestic structure is to prepare people who can play for Nepal and be competitive.
That's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Good night.